Okay. Just keeping you in the loop.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And I sent Ms. Gandy, hopefully you got the ones that were removed from the calendar also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Miss Chavez. Thought you'd be in Italy by now. All right.
I just came back.
Nice. Let's see. Pulled out. So you want to take South edX and then Miss Chavez's client, right?
Yes, Judge.
All right. So that is Miss Reed. South edX is Miss Reed.
Yes, Your Honor, that's position 14.
All right.
Also, Your Honor, a quick announcement for you. I just spoke to Attorney Houston. He's asking the court to hold for his report.
Okay.
I don't know if that's his case or not. I just want to let you know ahead of time.
Oh, okay. Miss Rondon said she would be a few minutes late. All right. So this is position 14. 22 CP 211945, 107 days without indictment. We got possession of firearm or knife during the commission of attempt to commit certain felonies, aggravated assault, family violence. There is a $7,500 good bond as of September the 1st. Wow.
Judge, only thing, disorderly conduct 2019.
All right. Mr. Cazzoli.
Good evening, Your Honor. Your Honor, Miss Reed is 45 years old. She's been in Georgia for about 10 years. She has two children. She has three children, 2 kids, 1 adult. She has a mother and a sister. She's currently residentially challenged. We have gotten a social worker involved. Her bond is currently set at $7,500, Your Honor, which I understand may seem pretty low based on the charges, but based on discussions had at first appearance, it was set at that amount, and recently at her preliminary hearing, Your Honor, we did not have the chance to argue bond, but we would ask this bond be reduced by $2,500 to a total of $5,000, so that once we are able to secure any sort of housing, we may be able to get her back on her feet.
No. That's not what I want. That's not what I want.
I'm sorry, whoever's talking, don't. Go ahead, Ms. Amjadi. You're on mute, Ms. Amjadi.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize. Given the offenses, Your Honor, $7,500 is a very fair and, in fact, a very generous bond amount. And for that reason, the state's position is that bond should remain at its current position due to its being a reasonable bond amount.
All right, thank you. Let's see, Ms. Hervey, I know you're outside and you're not in my courtroom, but we don't smoke in my courtroom, virtual or not. Appreciate you. That's okay. So have you guys heard from the victim, Daryl Winslow?
Your Honor, give me just one moment.
Okay.
And I apologize, Your Honor. I had some pages that stuck together when prepping this calendar today.
Okay.
A victim locate has been requested, Your Honor. We don't have the correct phone number.
Okay. All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1245 Donnelly, Donnelly Avenue, Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with Daryl, Darryl Winslow, Winslow. Need to supply an address to the jail upon getting out. And you also need to supply it to your attorney and to the, and your attorney will supply it to the state. Need to give that over to the ankle monitoring company. If you have a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical. Mr. Cazzoli, do you need I don't know. Anything else?
Your Honor, not at this time. We would ask that until housing is secured, that we hold off on the ankle monitor, but if the court is not inclined, we have no, we'll work around that once housing is secured.
Okay, all right. So I got 2,000 and 4,000. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Is that the one you got, South Annex?
That's why I want to. What the fuck?
Please have a seat.
Hold on, somebody's taking themselves off mute and it's not somebody working here. Is that it for South Annex?
No, Your Honor, I have position number 5, Ms. Palmer.
Okay, yep, got it. Position 522 CP 211692 Harmony, sorry, I hope I didn't mispronounce that, Farmer. 116 days without indictment. There's a $10,000 good bond as of August the 23rd for aggravated assault. Pre-trial.
Judge, for prior arrests. Conviction for, no, open case for battery 22 CR 006765C for battery. She had prelim yesterday. Nothing further.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Houston.
Yes, Judge. Mrs. Farmer is 22 years of age. She is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, Georgia. The address that we have on file will be updated with a change of address form. Her mother has agreed to allow her to come home and live with her in her residence and receive mail there. The address is 115 Gumtree, Gumtry Trail, Covington, Georgia 30016. She is a graduate of Westlake High School, and she was employed prior to her incarceration. She was employed with DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. She does have a 2-year-old child, and I believe the client represents that she is 5 months when she is pregnant. Your Honor, we would ask for assistance with the bail project, so we would ask that the bond be reduced by $5,000 for a total amount of $5,000. Thank you.
And it looks like on Odyssey, there is a warrant that's pending. Did you see that, Mr. Houston? I
did not. I just pulled up an Odyssey. She has a warrant pending.
Yes, sir. Let me pull it up here. One second. So this is, well, okay, so so make sure you take care of it because I don't think it's an SB 440 thing, but it was a 2016 juvenile, but we know how sometimes those can kind of slow things down. So if you just may want to call the jail, make sure that's taken care of.
Okay, understood, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, given the offense alleged here that she stabbed the victim, $10,000 is a fair and reasonable bond. Additionally, the victim is opposed to any reduction in the bond amount.
You've had contact with the victim?
Yes, and he was also advised to get a TPO.
Okay. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 4001 Lakemont Drive in College Park. No further contact with TREMELL, last name DUGARD, and no further contact with Erica Cody, CODY. And have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical. Stay out of Fulton County. Unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Yes, sir, Ms. Houston.
I didn't say anything, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. I thought that was you. So if she wants to seek employment, you need that exception, Mr. Houston?
Yes, I'm sure that she will be seeking employment considering the situation.
All right. You seek employment, ma'am. You got to provide the name of your employer, proof of employment, the location you'll be working, and a schedule. You have to supply that to Mr. Houston and the ankle monitoring company. If you don't, that'll be a violation. Ma'am, when I say stay out of Fulton County, I mean do not come into Fulton County unless you are here for court or to see your lawyer. Fill up a gas in Covington before you come to Fulton County, ma'am. I'm only going to reduce it to $8,000. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Understood, Your Honor. That concludes my business. May I be excused?
Absolutely. Unless you're here for me next week for some prelims. We'll see you next year on the evenings.
Likewise, Your Honor. Happy holidays.
All right, you too. All right, so we've got Miguel Hernandez. Ms. Chavez, if you raise your right hand, you swear or affirm you'll translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English, best of your knowledge, skills, and abilities.
I do, Your Honor.
All right, Miguel Hernandez.
Señor Miguel Hernández, levante la
Sí.
mano. Yes.
All right. 22 CP 211653,
22 CP 211653.
118 days without indictment.
118 días sin ser acusado de manera formal.
There's a $14,000 good bond as of August 22nd.
El 22 de agosto le dieron a usted una fianza de $14,000.
Possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute.
Posesión de metanfetamina con la intención de distribuir.
Possession and use of drug-related objects.
Posesión y utilización de objetos para utilizar drogas.
Giving false information on law enforcement.
Darle información falsa a los oficiales de la ley.
And obstruction, misdemeanor.
Y obstrucción es un delito menor.
Wow. Go ahead, Ms. Chavez.
Antecedentes penales.
Good job, Ms. Chavez. That's for you, Boston. You obviously got to say it again. Boston ain't paying
No,
attention.
no. Look it up. My Odyssey don't work. Sometimes teleworking now. I have to switch over to my desktop in the office. Give me just a second, please, and thank you. I had to put in his information. Sorry. I'm messing up and holding everybody up. It's my mistake.
And don't forget, Ms. Chavez has to interpret.
Van a leer sus antecedentes penales, señor, pero en este momento están teniendo problemas técnicos. Un momento, por favor.
Do not have complete history, no open cases in Fulton County.
No tengo la historia completa, pero el historial completo, pero no tiene casos abiertos en el condado de Fulton.
Last arrest was 2019 in New Jersey.
El último arresto fue el 2019 en Nueva Jersey.
For possession of CDs.
Posesión de CDs.
Nothing further.
Nada más.
It must be something that says CDS. Hopefully not.
That's CDs. Like, you know, back in the day when people used to sell CDs.
Thank you, boss.
CDs and analogs, you know, like when people used to burn CDs and stuff like that.
I got you. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Tessier.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Señor Tessier,
Miguel Hernandez is 36 years old.
el señor Miguel Hernández tiene 36 años.
He's been in Georgia for the last 2 years.
En los últimos 2 años ha vivido en Georgia.
Got a good address at 85 Old Holcomb Bridge Way.
Tiene una dirección válida en 88 Old Holcomb Bridge Way.
Where he lives with his uncle and his cousin, Yorby.
Vive con su tío y su primo Yorgi.
He's completed the 5th grade.
Ha terminado el 5º grado.
He has one child that he helps to care for.
Tiene un hijo que mantiene.
He's employed by ATL Tents, where he sets up tents for events.
Él trabaja para ATL Tents, donde él pone carpas para eventos.
Hasn't had a bond hearing since his first appearance back August 22nd.
No ha tenido otra audiencia para que le fijen una fianza desde la primera que le pusieron en agosto en 22.
Been in custody, 118 days without indictment.
Está bajo custodia ya 118 días sin haber sido acusado formalmente.
And for this case, there are no witnesses for him to intimidate.
Para este caso, su señoría, no existen testigos que él pudiera intimidar.
He's not a violent person or a danger to the community.
No es una persona violenta, tampoco es un peligro para la comunidad.
He's not a flight risk.
no está en peligro de que huya.
According to the pretrial report, he's not on probation or parole.
De acuerdo al reporte de los antecedentes penales, no está en ningún tipo de parol o probatoria.
No prior felony convictions within the last 10 years.
En los últimos años no ha sido convicto de un delito mayor.
Doesn't have 2 or more FTAs.
No tiene 2 o más faltas de comparecer a sus audiencias.
Doesn't have probation or parole violations.
No tiene ningún tipo de infracción de parol o probatoria.
And no violent crime convictions.
Y no tiene ninguna condena de delitos violentos.
Your Honor, I don't believe that he can make the bond amount that we're about to ask for.
Su señoría, no creo que la cantidad que le voy a pedir, él pueda, para la fianza, pueda pagarla.
I strongly ask that you consider granting a bond reduction of $4,000, making the total bond $10,000.
Yo le estoy pidiendo a su señoría fuertemente de que se le hiciera una rebaja de $4,000 para que le quede a él una fianza de $10,000.
Gentlemen in the booth, I need all of you to sit down, please, and pay attention. We will, there's no, trust me, y'all want to stay out of those places, but we're, out of the population. When we get you in there with a little peace and quiet, you keep getting up and wandering around. So be still, please. Go ahead, Miss Amjadi.
Señora Amjadi.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias, su señoría.
Your Honor, I checked the standing order, and I believe there may have been a miscalculation with respect to count 1.
Yo estaba viendo la orden, señor, y yo creo que hubo una calculación errónea para el cargo 1.
I think instead of $12,500, it should have been $8,000, according to the terms of Judge Brasher's standing order.
De acuerdo a la orden que dio el juez Brasher, en lugar de ser 12,500, debería de ser 8,000.
And Your Honor, the misdemeanor charges do have fair bond amounts already. If the court is inclined to reduce the bond amount for possession and use of drug-related objects, then the state has no objection there.
A su señoría, yo creo que la fianza de los delitos menores está correcto, pero si quiere reducirle a la posesión de objetos para utilización de drogas, el error está ahí.
And you, Ms. Amjadi, you said 8,000 on count 1?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the amount of methamphetamine, according to the warrants, was 4.3 grams.
All right.
Señorita Madi, está diciendo de que estamos hablando del cargo 1, sí, de 8,000, sí, porque la metanfetamina era 4.3 gramos.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons?
Señor, usted no puede utilizar drogas solo si se le han sido prescritas, no puede tomar alcohol, no puede tener posesión de un arma de fuego o armas.
Stay away from 1085 Holcomb Bridge Road.
Tiene que mantenerse alejado de la dirección 1085 Old Holcomb Bridge Road.
Mr. Tessier, what's the address he's going to be living at?
Señor Tessier, ¿cuál es la dirección donde él va a estar viviendo?
85 Old Holcomb Bridge Way. Apartment 4.
85 Old Holcomb Bridge Way, apartamento 4.
Roswell, Georgia 30076.
Roswell, Georgia 30076.
Ms. Amjadi, anything else?
No, Your Honor, I believe that bond amount and the terms and conditions therewith are reasonable.
All right.
Abogada fiscal, ya de algo más, no, su señoría, yo creo que las condiciones que le han puesto y la cantidad de la fianza es razonable.
Yeah, 8,000 count 1.
8,000 al cargo 1.
$100 on count 2.
Cargo 2, $100.
$400 on count 3.
Cargo 3, $400.
And $500 on count 4.
Y $500 el cargo 4.
Best of luck to you, sir. Thank you, Marietta NX.
Muchas gracias, gracias a la cárcel de Marietta.
Thank you, Your Honor. That does complete my business. May I be excused, please?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Eso
Thank
es
you.
todo, señor.
Stay healthy and safe. Have a good holiday if I don't see you again.
You too, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Chavez.
That's all, Your Honor?
That's it. I think that's the only case we had that needed your services.
Okay, thank you
Judge.
so much.
Excuse me, did you do a 24-hour curfew on him?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chavez.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Hold on. Anybody? No. So South Annex done. Marietta Annex is done. Ms. Amjadi, did you have an opportunity to review those videos from Mr. Butterfield?
I did, Your Honor. I didn't have videos. I just saw photographs, but
Yeah. Yeah. His attachments.
yes, Your Honor.
Is that something that you want to discuss with him now? I mean, because we got a big old calendar.
I'm ready to discuss whenever the court would like me to, Your Honor.
Remind me his name, please. That's the client's name.
Terrence Johnson, Your Honor, he is on your add-on calendar for today. It's like the third calendar that was.
Just look. All I need was his name. I got it. Oh, this is on my calendar. All right. It's Terrence Johnson. Is he in the booth? Wave your hand, Mr. Johnson. Okay, he's there. 22 CP 213-811. Terrence Johnson, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of a felony. 38 days, no indictment. 11-9, no bond. Free trial.
Judge Mr. Johnson, Terrence, 16 prior arrests, open case 22 CR 0020885F, battery, 2 misdemeanors. Open case in Cobb, purchase, manufacture, sale marijuana, a conviction of 2018 reckless. That was something else, none further.
All right. Ms. Amjadi,
Yes, Your Honor.
anything? Because I know he sent stuff for you to review.
Yeah, I reviewed that, Your Honor. The screenshots that were shown showed text messages between an unknown individual and a phone number. This phone number did not match the phone number that we have in our system for the victim. It wasn't the same area code at all. Additionally, I did some digging after this because there was nothing particularly probative in these screenshots of conversations. The victim in this case, Ms. Green, was also the victim in a 2018 case. Pretrial just mentioned that he had a prior conviction for reckless conduct. That was reduced from aggravated assault and aggravated battery, Your Honor. In that case, he shot Ms. Green. The bullet would have entered her torso and got 4 vital organs. She had to be rushed to a trauma center. The case was eventually pled down to reckless conduct and possession of a pistol by someone under the age of 18. However, the fact remains that the victim in that case, who is the same as the victim in this case, did sustain a gunshot wound previously at the hands of this defendant. The state is absolutely opposed to bond, particularly since we are nowhere near the 90-day mark.
All right, Mr. Butterfield.
Judge, I've never heard of that before. It's my understanding that this person's name was not Green. This was Naya, and I did send videos, not just telephones. But when we discussed this last, Judge, Mr. Johnson has no felony convictions at all. He is 22 years old. I explained to the court he is in college. He had finals prior to getting arrested. But the significant part about this case, again, and again, I don't know that. I didn't do this research that Ms. Amjadi. I've never heard what she just told me. But nonetheless, in this particular case, the significance of what was sent, Judge, and obviously I would state this: we wouldn't send the court and the prosecutors some text messages that were not relevant to this particular case, and the video of the individual. And the significant part about it was that in this particular case, we stated to the court that the young lady stated that Mr. Johnson came to her house. It was her boyfriend, that he kicked the door in and that he said, "I'll kill you." It was no other context. But then that same night, the next days, there are text messages and there's no mention of that. And he had stated, as the evidence goes forth, that he had to ask this young lady to stop posting him because he's an up and coming rapper. So that is what we have. And that, he was subsequently arrested months later. But we're asking, Judge, in this particular, in this with this ag assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. I had stated this on Monday on the 12th, that we would ask for a bond anywhere between 10,000, 7,000 on the ag assault, 3,000 on the possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 with any terms and conditions that the court deem appropriate in this particular case. As I say, he is a student. The court has the address where he will be living in Atlanta if he's released on bond, and that, you know, any other appropriate conditions in this particular case.
Your Honor, I'm checking again. It does appear that there was a different name on this case, so I
There's not.
apologize.
That's okay, Raven Neal. But this does say that open cruelty, aggravated assault in Douglas County, open battery, 2 other open cases.
No.
There are also a number of state court cases, Your Honor, that seem to involve domestic violence.
Judge, as I think I've mentioned to the court, the December 12th date, in the Douglas County case, he was represented by William Bodie before I met Mr. Johnson, and that case was a pretrial diversion on that, the Douglas County. I represent him on the case in Cobb County that they stopped him in the car. They said they thought it was marijuana in the car. They're offering him a misdemeanor plea in that case, but that case was on court Tuesday after we left. But I told them he is currently incarcerated in Fulton. But he's like I say, he's never been convicted of any felonies, Judge.
I mean, I agree. I don't see any dates on here. And I tell you what, I'm not going to hold up the deputy. So if you want to come back, say in 1 hour, hopefully we'll be finished with this and we'll address it a little bit longer. Okay, Mr. Butterfield?
Okay, thank you.
Got to get these jail cases, okay?
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right.
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump on just to confirm that my positions were removed. I had Anderson and Vines.
See, sit out, and I think I copied you on that.
I saw it. I just wanted to double check and check in before I.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. You have a good one unless I see you in Fremont. Good
All
holiday.
righty. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. Nathaniel Jefferson. Wave your hand, Mr. Jefferson. All right. Miss Beck here, or Mr. Cho, are you Miss Beck this time?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Cho's playing someone else today. I got Nathaniel Jefferson. It's number 1322 CP 211822. 112 days without indictment, BGCSA possession or control of a substance in Schedule 1 or 2, criminal trespass, willful obstruction. There's a $7,000 good bond as of August the 27th. Pre-trial.
What did you say?
Nathaniel Jefferson, number 13.
Oh, I was on mute the whole time and I read the whole thing. Sorry, my bad.
All right.
I have
You
a
fell
bad
asleep
brain
again.
today. My brain is not working. It's on the fritz.
Right.
37 prior arrests, 5 arrests for probation violations, 7 FTA, 2014, 2013 code, 17 code. Judge Brain misinjected. She sent me a very long message in the thingamabob, so I was trying to read and write at the same time. I can't do both.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Yes, Your Honor. So for Mr. Jefferson, he has significant MH, but his mother has agreed to allow him to live with her at 10302 Hamilton Glen in Jonesboro, Georgia, 30238. And then our social worker was also able to get him into a program at Grady, and he would be doing outpatient at Grady. We spoke with Marcia Tribble, and she has confirmed that if he were to be released and went to Grady, they would be able to do the check-in with him, and then he would immediately be able to get started. And his mom has also agreed to help him and make sure that he is going to Grady and getting the help he needs. For these reasons, we're asking for a UJR so that he is able to go to those programs and get the help that he needs.
All right, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, bond does appear to be. It doesn't look like there is a wait for the Schedule 2 controlled substance. If the court is inclined to reduce it to 2,500, state has no objection. And to reduce the criminal trespass to 500, state has no objection.
Okay.
Your Honor, he's not able to make any bond, so any amount, that's very generous of the state. He's unfortunately not able to make any bonds. That's why we're asking for a UJR, because he does need the mental health help that Grady is available to give him.
And the Bill Project's not willing to.
I put his name in and haven't heard anything back. I put his name in September something. So.
Well, I think, but then it was 7,000, so now it should be lower. All right, no
I can do that.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from all MARTA facilities. Third, if you come up on a bus stop, you can't stop at it. You have to go past it. You cannot sit at a bus stop and tie your shoe. You have to go down the street and tie your shoe. You cannot be around absolutely any MARTA. Stay away from 235 Peachtree Street. And then you go stay out of Fulton County this year for court, lawyer, medical, or that program, the program at Grady. That's what I'm talking about, medical. If you're not in that program at Grady, you can't come back to Fulton County this year for court or to see your lawyer. You're going to have an ankle monitor with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and participating in the program. But you do stay out of Fulton County, sir. So I'll make it 2,250 and 500. Absolutely, sir. You got a permanent suspension at MARTA. That's 2,250 and 500. And Ms. Beck, if something happens and it doesn't work, just reach back out to Ms. Amjadi. You can include me and we can see what we can do to get him out and get him in that program.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, we got Mehival Williams or Mehival Williams. Sorry, I know I'm totally pronouncing it wrong.
Your Honor, it's a typo. His name is Michael.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, Michael Williams. There we go. It's position 24, Bostic. 22 CP 208001. Michael Williams, 257 days without indictment. There is a $106,000 good bond as of June the 21st. Wow.
Mr. Williams, 39 prior arrests in Georgia.
Put yourself back on mute.
Bostic, sit on your hands. You keep muting yourself. Bostic. Okay, all right.
Two felony convictions, 3 arrests for probation violations, 1 FTA. Cocaine convictions. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Correa.
Thank you, Your Honor. As you noted, Mr. Williams is coming close to almost a whole year in custody. He turned 33 while in the custody of the jail. He has been living in the Metro Atlanta area since 2003. I updated his address in Odyssey. The address that you see reflected in Odyssey out of the 30331 zip code, that is where Mr. Williams would be residing with his father, Michael Williams Sr., who I have been in contact with. Also in the Metro Atlanta area supporting Mr. Williams is his fiance of 4 years and their children. In total, Mr. Williams has 2 biological children and 2 stepchildren. When he was incarcerated, Mr. Williams was enrolled at Atlanta Technical College to obtain his GED. He would, of course, now need to re-enroll in order to complete that program. Mr. Williams was also gainfully employed at the local Walmart distribution center. He's a certified forklift driver, so he was working in the warehouse there to help move heavy pallets of items. And he'd also been gainfully employed there since 2019. However, given the length of incarceration at this point, Mr. Williams would have to reapply in order to obtain that position again, but is hopeful that he would be able to come back on given his long track record in that position. I'm asking the court to consider a bond reduction today on behalf of Mr. Williams. The basis for that is now that there is this probation hold, and also given that he has been in for 257 days without any way to generate any kind of income for himself. By the time this probation hold is resolved, his income at this point is zero, and it has been zero for quite some time. But at least for his family, I'm asking Your Honor to consider reducing this bond to a $50,000 bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, I compared the amounts in the warrants to Judge Brasher's standing order, and unfortunately, we can't get this down to a bond as low as Ms. Correa is asking for. But with respect to charge one, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, I believe that the maximum for the amount listed was $25,000. And with respect to count two, possession of MDA with intent to distribute, I believe that amount was would be $6,500. So that is still a substantial reduction. With respect to the firearm charges, I think $15,000 for each one is still reasonable, given public safety concerns. And the state will defer to the court with respect to the other charges.
All right. So he's going to live in Ellenwood. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You're going to have ankle monitor paid for by the Orca Project with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, and seek medical attention. Employment, Ms. Correa, as long as he supplies the name of his employer, proof of employment, a schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. He'll have to submit that every single time if he gets a weekly schedule to the ankle monitoring company and to you, so you can submit it to the state. Also, sir, stay out of Fulton County. The only reason
Your Honor, the Ellenwood address is no longer the good address. I filed a change of address in Odyssey that is now out of Atlanta, 30331.
Oh, because the change I see is the Ellenwood.
Okay, the one I have listed is a Fairburn address. It's a Fairburn Road address.
The one is, I guess I don't see it in here yet. All right. Well, don't leave Fairburn.
Well,
how about that?
I think so. The full address is it's on Fairburn Road, but the address is Atlanta, Georgia 30331.
Okay, sorry, because the one I saw was the Ellenwood address. So let me see it one more time. All right. Well,
It's updated in Odyssey, Judge.
okay. All right. Stay away from 198 Auburn Avenue. Tell you what, stay out of the city of Atlanta. You only come back to the city of Atlanta, go to court, and see your lawyer.
Your Honor, again, his address is City of Atlanta.
But I don't think that part of Fairburn Road's in the city proper.
Okay.
I don't think that's like the actual city proper. Stay out of the proper city limits of Atlanta. You know any different? Because I don't think that's in the proper city limits.
If I can look it up, I just don't want to prevent him from being able to.
All right, tell you what, stay out of downtown, sir. Don't come north of 285. You stop at 285. Do not come north of 285. Stay on the south side of 285 unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. That ankle monitor is going to be paid for by the Orca Project with a 24-hour curfew. If before there was a hold, so when I did this in June, if there's a hold that hasn't been taken care of, he'll have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on his ankle. 25,000, 6,500, 12,000, 12,000, 500, 500, and 250. 25,000, 6,500, 12,000, 12,000, 500, 500, 250.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you, sir.
And Your Honor, that does conclude my business with the court, if I may be excused.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll see you on the prelims.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Have a good
Thanks.
one.
David Anderson. Mr. Lang? Mr. Lang here?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, couldn't find the mute button.
All right, we got 22 CP 211429, David Anderson, 126 days without indictment. There's a $5,000 good bond. I'm not sure if they just put it on here or if it was set on November 30th because it was set previously, or if Judge Dallas addressed it, but it's on forgery in the 3rd degree, 126 days without indictment. Trial.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Anderson, multi-state offender, 2 in Kentucky, 15 in Georgia. 2 LTAs, 04 and 07, couple of misdemeanors, battery, simple assault, felonies, 07 burglary, theft by taking, and a CWAC in 06, nothing further.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Lang.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson is 37 years old. He's lived in Georgia his entire life, born and raised, lived in Atlanta for the last 20 years, moved here in 2002. He has a good address. It is an address update from what's on his booking report. The new address will be 1030 Hewlett, Hewlett Street, Southwest, Apartment A, Conyers, Georgia, zip code 30012. That is his brother's address. He will be going to live with his brother upon release. He has his he's working on his GED currently. He began shortly before he was arrested and is hoping to complete it upon his release. He was unemployed at the time of his arrest. He is hoping to be able to get a new position upon release, but with having been in custody since mid-August, obviously not able to hold anything for that long. But he is hoping that, especially with the help of his brother and his friend, Mr. Robert Kelly, who's been heavily involved in this case so far, that he'll be able to find something. He did recently have his preliminary hearing. Just for your Honor's information, you were asking kind of the procedural posture of this. We started a bond hearing on that day. However, there was a lot of information that was still kind of up in the air, the address, things like that. So Judge Dallas put it off until today so that I could work on solidifying that information, like the new address, things like that. I have done that. We have a new address. I'm asking the court to consider granting an unsecured judicial release through pretrial level 2, otherwise to reduce the bond to $1,000 good.
All right, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, the defendant has 15 arrest cycles since 2004. As Ms. Bostic mentioned, there were some FTAs. I saw 3 cycles for violations of probation as well in that history. However, Your Honor, I do recognize that in the spectrum of felonies, this is not a very threatening one. And for that reason, the state will not object if the court is inclined to reduce it to $2,500.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2833 Main Street in East Point. Stay away from all region banks. No further contact with Martha Sutton, Sutton, and no further contact with Nukeshia, last name CHALUMEAN. I'm sorry, it's ARI. MEARI. No further contact with Jonathan Bekan, BEKAN. Stay out of Fulton County, sir. Live here for court or to see your lawyer. You got those other cases. So you have a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, work. Need to supply the name of your work, proof of employment, name of your employer, where you'll be working, and your schedule. Submit that to Mr. Lang. He'll submit it to the state. $2,500. Best of luck to you, sir. You'll leave the booth. Zafrin Long.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before you. May I be excused?
Yes, sir, Mr. Lang. We spent the day together, so I'm sure you're ready to get away from me now.
I wouldn't put it that way, Judge, but it's good to see you. Good to see you as well, Miss Amjadi. It's been a little while.
Good to see you as well, Mr. Lang. Take care and have a great weekend.
Everyone take care. If I don't see you, happy holidays.
You too.
Thank you. Mr. Long. Mr. Long. If there's a Mr. Long, Zayfried Long, raise your hand. Not yet. Okay. What about Caven Asbury? Or Cavan? Thank you, sir. Ms. Pinto? Anybody covering for Ms. Pinto today? Maybe it was Ms. Rodney because she's not here. I will be right back to you, sir. Hold on a second. Let's see. Derek Morris. Derek Morris. There we go. Mr. Cazzoli is position 10 pretrial. It's 22 CP 211759. Derek Morris, 114 days without indictment. $20,000 good, excuse me, $10,000 good bond as of August the 25th on aggravated assault. Pretrial.
In regards to Mr. Morris, multi-state offender, 16 in Pennsylvania, 2 in New Jersey, 3 in DC, 4 in Virginia, 1 in Florida. Pennsylvania, old felonies in the 90s, in New Jersey, weapons charges. Nothing further.
5 North, I promise you, there is nothing good going on out there. All right, go ahead, Mr. Cazzoli.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Morris is 50 years old. He has lived in Georgia since January, coming from Richmond, Virginia. He does have a good mailing address at 866 Warner Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310, but he is residentially challenged. He has his GED. Your Honor, we are asking for the bond to be reduced to $6,000. He would still not be able to afford that, Your Honor, but we just want that number moving in the right direction. I understand that his bond is currently set at a what one can consider a fair amount. Again, we did have his prelim very recently, and the while probable cause was found, Your Honor, the allegations themselves are somewhat shaky, so we are asking for a reduction still.
Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, given the facts and circumstances of this case, namely that the defendant struck the victim in the back of the head with a blunt object, the state's position is that bond as previously set is fair and reasonable. Additionally, he has 1 arrest cycle in Georgia, this case, and he has 16 arrest cycles in Pennsylvania up through 2019. So he does have a lot of significant ties to other states, which would increase the likelihood that he might present a risk of failure to appear.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with San Miguel, M-I-G-U, let's see.
Jose San Miguel, Your Honor.
Jose San Miguel. Yeah, I saw Jose was smaller. Jose San Miguel. Stay away from 515 Lee Street. Well, it said before, okay, you have a anchor bond paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. Is he going to work, Mr. Cazzoli?
Your Honor, he did not have employment at the time of his arrest, but again, we will cross that bridge when we get to it if upon release.
Okay. Court, medical, lawyer, you're on a 24-hour curfew. Sir, you're going to have to supply an address to the jail upon being released and to Mr. Cazzoli, and Mr. Cazzoli can supply it to the state. I'm sure he'll be looking, so as soon as you get an address, that's part of it. I'm only going to reduce it down to $1,000, $9,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Deshaun Rivers. Deshaun Rivers. Torrance Zellner. Curtis Douglas. Curtis Douglas. Edward Bazemore.
Your Honor, we're trying to get these inmates to the floor. You understand the consequences going on over there.
Oh, yeah, I got you. What about Tajon Banks? That's a whole stack. Hold on a second. let's see. All right. Zafran Long. Mr. Long. Are you Zafran? Long? Okay. See, gentlemen, y'all gotta wave your hands. You're just looking at me. I don't know you. Thank you. All right. We got position 1. Zafran Long, 22 CP 211764, 116 days, no indictment. It's in no bond status as of 8/25 with possession of a pistol revolver by a person under 18, second offense, and theft by taking. Pre-trial.
No prior arrest.
Go ahead, Mr. Cazzoli.
Thank you, Your Honor. One moment.
One
please.
North, if you're waiting, you better sit down. You could be next, and you're not waving when we call your name. I know you want to stretch, but we're trying to get through this. You got to be paying attention. Sorry, Mr. Cazzoli, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Long is 18 years old. At the time of his arrest, he was in 12th grade. As mentioned, this was his first ever arrest. He's lived in Georgia for the last 6 years, originally from New Jersey. Most of his family lives in Georgia as well. The address on file is a good one. Your Honor, we're asking for a bond not to exceed $50,000. Again, he is entitled to a bond. We're asking for a bond not to exceed $50,000.
Okay. Ms. Amjadi?
I checked the prior bond order denying bond, and it stated that the defendant posed a significant threat or danger to the community. I wasn't sure if that was based off of the charge of possession of a firearm or if there was some history. As Mr. Cazzoli stated, this does appear to be his first ever arrest. I reached out to juvenile court as well to understand if there was something else that the court meant in its prior order. Given that, Your Honor, I would respectfully request a bond in the amount of $15,000 for the firearms charge, Your Honor, and I will defer to the court for the theft charge.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Do we know where he's going to live, Mr. Cazzoli?
Your Honor, it's my understanding he would be able to return home. I will be able to get in contact with his mother to confirm that, and I will update the jail accordingly.
All right. I'm pretty sure because when I read the warrant, thing is he had a gun and he was threatening to shoot up the McDonald's. And there were people in it. Stay away from 310 North Central Avenue in Hateville. Actually, stay away from all McDonald's. Can't go anywhere near a McDonald's. You're going to have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, or to see court, lawyer, or to see a doctor. Let's see. Have extra ammunition in your side pocket. Told the cops your goal was 34 kids and 2 teachers. $50,000 on count 1, $25,000 on count 2. Best of luck to you, sir. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the county. 24-hour curfew. Best of luck to you. And Mr. Cazzoli, if you can get him some sort of help.
Yes, Your Honor. We've been working with a social worker trying to get some help.
All right, let me know because we don't need that.
Understood.
Thank you. You can leave the booth, sir. Nope. He'll call you. He'll call you.
It's gonna be 75,000 total, Mr. Long, if that's your question. Okay.
All right. Kayvon Asbury. So y'all know if Miss Pinto's coming or Ms. Rosenhover's got it.
Yes, Your Honor, I did just reach out to her. She actually is on leave right now, and the amended calendar is what that position's on, and that came out after she was already on leave. I understand that the court doesn't have any other night court dates for the remainder of the year, but if that bond hearing could be reset, she would be grateful. I don't have the notes with me. I'm not in the office. Otherwise, I would jump in.
All right, Ms. Robinson, can we just reset this until the first of the year?
Yes, Judge, we'll just reset it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Rose. Sir, they're going to have to reset your court date, but you already have a bond of $32,000 that was set previously. I'm sure somebody from the Public Defender's Office will reach out to you. Best of luck to you. You can leave the booth. We'll get you back in a couple of weeks. Did Ms. Rondon show up? Yeah, no, Miss Rhonda yet. Okay, what about, try it again. Deshaun Rivers. Torrance Zellner. Curtis Douglas. Edward Bazemore. Dejon Banks. Okay, there's 3 people in there. And I got Mr. Butterfield's case, which is going to go later. Javarcus Porter. All right, so who are these other 3 people sitting in here not waving at a single name that I call out?
Judge, I know that in 1 North, that's Demetrius Simpkins, and Your Honor did send me an email asking to remove him. I did send an email back and send an email about him on the 7th of December, since we did not actually hear bond at prelims, and everyone agreed that we could leave it on this ORCA calendar. I would ask the court if we could still have the hearing. I would be grateful, but I understand that since there was a bond order in, it looked as though we had a bond hearing already.
We can go ahead and hear this. It may go a little bit slower because I didn't prep it because I saw that the bond was on there. All right, it's a Bostic. You gonna be able to do this one? It was position 2. Bostic.
I will have to pull it up.
All right. Right. It was on one of the add-on calendars. It was the same add-on calendar as Mr. Long. All right, it's position 2 on the add-on calendars. 22 CP 211264. Demetrius Cordarius Simpkins.
I got it.
It's 100. I think it's 133 days without indictment. We got possession, distribution, manufacture, sale of marijuana, criminal use of an article with an altered ID mark, receipt, possession, or transport of a firearm by a convicted felon or first offender, willful obstruction and possession or non-fire firearm during the commission of a felony. Stand by. I've got an APD officer calling me. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I have to sign a warrant for somebody. Let's see. There's a $21,000 good bond as of 12/5. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Simpkins, 14 prior arrests. Open case 22 SC 183751. Cocaine with the intent, purchase, manufacturing, sale of marijuana, schedule 1 or 2 with the intent. 1 misdemeanor. Prior conviction for armed robbery, still on probation. 15 SC 133408. Sentence 3/19/15 for 8 years. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Rosenhoover.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Simpkins is 30 years old, and I did just file a change of address with the court today. He'll be residing with his mother, his brother, and his sister, who did just deliver a child at 2003 Arthur's Court Drive in Decatur, Georgia. He also has a 4-year-old son that he provides for as he is able. He has a 9th grade education, and he was previously working for a privately owned company that did yard work, roofing, and repaving of parking lots. And Your Honor, he would be able to continue doing that. Just a little bit of context without getting too much into the facts of the case. At prelims, we did learn that it's only a felony possession amount of marijuana. There was no evidence of intent to distribute, so that's what that charge is. And also, Judge, it is just a misdemeanor obstruction. And the charge that was added is just a 3rd charge for the same gun. And so that just to provide context of what those charges are for. Your Honor, at this time, his mother is a single mother and she is providing for several children, and she would be the only one who could help Mr. Simpkins bond out right now since he's been incarcerated for the past 133 days without indictment. So he can't make a high bond, but at this time we're asking for count 1 to be reduced to $2,000, count 2 to be reduced to $2,000, count 3 to be reduced to $2,000, count 4 to remain at 1,000, and count 5 to be reduced to 2,000 for a total of a $9,000 bond. Thank you.
So let me put something on here. So now that I've printed out this bond order, it looks like count 3, the obstruction, the obstruction. So one count 3 was dismissed before. I think that was felony obstruction.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, sorry, that was a different count 3. Okay, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, I understand that the marijuana charge has been reduced, I believe, to simple possession. If the court is inclined to reduce that to a more appropriate bond amount commensurate with the offense, state has no objection, but with respect to the other charges, the state believes that those bond amounts are fair and reasonable, given the charges.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with your co-defendants, Angela Belcher, Belcher, and your co-defendant, Robert Young. You know, stay away from 3067 Washington Road in East Point, Georgia. So if you're going to go live with your mother and those folks, they can't have a weapon in the house because that's the same as you having a weapon. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, anything else, Ms. Rosenhoover?
Did you say employment, Judge?
All right, we can put employment on there. You have to supply proof of employment, the name of your employer, a schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. Sir, you always have to supply it to the ankle monitoring company and to Ms. Rosenhoover so she can supply it to the state. $2,000 on count 1, $3,000 on count 2. $4,000 I'm going to leave at get me. Oh, let's see. The possession of a firearm, I'll leave that at 5. The obstruction, 500. And then I'll leave the last count at 5,000. So it's 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 500, and 5,000. So you got to stay out of Fulton County. The only reason you come back to Fulton County is court or to see your lawyer. Don't stop for gas in Fulton County. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. And that concludes my business, if I may be excused.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good one. And of course, I'll probably see you at prelims.
All right. See you soon, Judge. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, I just wanted to let you know that Mr. Bazemore is now up here. He is in booth 2 on 5 South.
Thank you. Edward Bazemore.
Judge?
Yes.
Interject. You called 3 South booth 2's name and he waved his hand.
Oh, I guess I can't see it with the glare from that monitor. Okay. All right, Mr. Bazemore. That's 12-22 CP 211-811, 112 days without indictment. We got hijacking a motor vehicle in the 2nd degree, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of a felony, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, possession of Schedule II controlled substance, purchase, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana, and giving a false name to law enforcement officers. Wow.
Judge Bazemore, 14 prior arrest conviction is for robbery in 07. Nothing further.
And just so you know, Ms. Beck, this bond was established by another judge that was not me. But go ahead, Ms. Beck.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, Your Honor, but
they got lucky there, but go ahead.
okay. Mr. Bazemore is 37 years old. He has a 20-year-old son who lives in Georgia. He attended Decatur Technical School and he graduated from there. He was working prior to his arrest, doing construction and handiwork. He was building fences. He has lived in Georgia since 1991. The address that will work for him is 430 Roxbury Drive in Riverdale, Georgia, 30274. I did file a change of address. I'm not sure if that's been updated yet in Odyssey, but it was filed on December 1st. We are asking bond not to exceed $16,000, Your Honor.
Sir, give me a thumbs up. Is that Clayton County? I need a thumbs up. Is that Clayton County where you're living? Okay, thank you so much. All right, go ahead, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, the bond amount as it stands is already exceptionally low given what the charges are. It's at least $20,000 less than what I would typically recommend for these charges. Nope, actually, it's a lot more than 20,000 less. So the state's position is that bond should not be decreased. Given the charges in the defendant's criminal history, which includes 14 arrest cycles since 2003, bond as previously set is very generous.
And I know we've got the victim's advocate. Have anybody heard from Susan Carter?
No, ma'am, we have not.
Okay. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2471 Old National Parkway. No further contact with Susan Carter. Also stay away from 1419 Virginia Avenue. But you shouldn't have a problem with that, sir, because you're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. And you will stay out of Fulton County. The only reason you are to come back into Fulton County, see your lawyer or for court. I understand you live in Riverdale. Some of that's in Fulton, some of that's in Clayton. And if you have to fly somewhere, sir, use the South Terminal, I do believe, or at least the International Terminal, because I think that's in Clayton County. Don't go to the side of the airport that's in Fulton County. That's a violation of your bond. You have that ankle monitor paid for by the Orca Project with a 24-hour curfew set for court, lawyer, or medical. Ms. Beck, anything else on that?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to leave count 1 at 10,000, leave count 3 at 5, 2 at 5, leave count 3 at 5. I'll reduce count 4 to 1,000. Count 5, I'll reduce it to 250. And count 6, I'll reduce that to 750. 10,000, 5,000, 5,000, 1,000, 250, and 750. You got that, Ms. Rowe?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Everybody just give me 1 second, please. Be safe. Okay. Eric Wingo. There you go. Did Miss Rondon get here? Deshaun Rivers. Deshaun Rivers. Torrance Zellner. There we go. There you go, Mr. Cho. It's position 2122 CP 205-780. Torrance Sherrod Zellner, 338 days without indictment. There's a $50,000 good bond as of August the 1st. Aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and aggravated battery. Breach. Raw.
Terrorist threats no 3. And a conviction for firearm during 2 counts, but it didn't say during what. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Mr. Cho.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Eric Cho on behalf of Mr. Zellner. Mr. Zellner is 37. He is from Atlanta. As you heard from Officer Bostic, he has very minimal history. He has a good address in Atlanta, 30315, where he resides with his grandmother. Prior to his incarceration, we're at 338 days as of today. He was working via a temp service, LP construction work, and construction work for a company called F as in Frank, C as in cat, L as in Lanier. Your Honor, he was also previously working at Staff Zone in Marietta and Dunlap, where he was there about a year and a half and was working 25 hours a week. He is working on his GED as well, Your Honor, and he does have some other issues as well, including a hold in DeKalb County. Your Honor, it's our understanding that total bond right now is $50,000. Your Honor, we are asking the court to consider a reduction in this case. We're asking the court to consider a reduction in half. I would ask Ms. Amjadi, excuse me, Deputy Amjadi as well, to consider expediting this case. It does appear as though a probable cause hearing was held on August 1st, so there is an officer available who can testify in front of a grand jury. Mr. Zellner does have family ties, including family that Ms. Feely has updated as well, and does care very deeply about Mr. Zellner. We are all ready to move forward on this case, since the case is still not indicted. And we are very close to a year, Your Honor. We're asking the court to consider a reduction in half and obviously defer to the court's wisdom and judgment. Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Cho, do you have an address where he's going to live?
Yes, I have 2246 Browns Mill Road, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia. He lives with his grandmother there since 1995. That is the address on the pretrial report. I don't have any indication that that address has changed.
Sir, is that where you're going to live? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right, appreciate it. Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, given the nature of the charges, the state's position is that bond, as previously said, is fair and reasonable. Although I understand that a $50,000 good bond is a high amount, the individual bond amounts are still lower than the state typically recommends for those charges individually. As such, the state's position is that bond should not be lowered at this time. Additionally, we do have 2 prior violent convictions for aggravated battery and terroristic threats. Granted, those were in 2003. However, it is a matter of some concern, especially given that there was a firearm involved in this case. With respect to victim contact, Your Honor, the victim is residentially challenged, so we have not been able to contact him. Mr. Cho, with respect to the question of indictment, it looks like it is getting ready to be indicted. There are notes in the system from earlier today that say that videos have been uploaded and documents are being added fairly recently. So I believe that you can probably expect this to get indicted within a few weeks.
Okay.
Right. So this one was set by another judge and not for me. No further contact with Danny Leopold, Leopold. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from, it comes up with new restaurants all the time. All Crystal restaurants. This one says in the state of Georgia, but stay away from all Crystal restaurants. Nationally, you ain't going to a Crystal restaurants at all. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county, with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, medical. And on here before, I have said, another judge said you could leave for work. Sir, you got to supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, a schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. If not, you can't leave, all right? If you're not working, doing any of that, you stay at your house and you follow the rules of your grandmother's house. That ankle monitor is going to be paid for by the county. No further contact with RAIQUAN, last name ANGEL, and another co-defendant, Darius, DRYUS, governor. Common spelling of governor. Got added one more. Stay away from 2509 Main Street in East Point. I'll leave count 1 as it is, 20,000, count 2, 8,000, count 3, 8,000, and count 4, I'm going to leave it 10. 20, 8, 8, and 10. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Thank you, sir. So who else do we have? Curtis Douglas. Mr. Cazoli, 22 CP 211746, 113 days without indictment, no bond as of August the 25th on aggravated assault, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, false report of a crime, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Preach. Wow.
Judge, in regard, you said Mr. Rivers?
No, Curtis Douglas. You're close.
Douglas.
Number 9.
59 prior arrest. Open case 19 CR 0020992Y, driving with a suspended license, simple assault. Just took a plea on 22 SC 183615 for battery, December the 2nd. Prior old convictions for threats, firearm buy, sale, manufacturing, simple batteries, cocaine, entering autos, prior FTAs, and prior probation violations. Nothing further.
Mr. Cazoli, do we have an address where he'll be living?
Your Honor, we do not. I do also have a little bit of context here, and I'm not sure why it's not showing up on the CP on case side here, but Mr. Douglas had a preliminary hearing on the 2nd as well and did receive a bond on that day. That bond, Your Honor, was set at $86,000, but in my communications with the judge, it was Judge Wendy Dallas. She was under the impression that he had an open case for aggravated assault and indicated that she would be in contact with you to try to get his aggravated assault was set at $75,000. She indicated that she would be much more comfortable with a lower bond, which is why he remained on the calendar. But you are just going to have to take my my word as an officer of the court today, because it is not showing up anywhere. But I can promise you that those conversations were had. So with that being said, Your Honor, we would ask for a bond not to exceed $10,000 on the possession of a firearm charge, $500 on the false report of a crime, $500 on the possession of marijuana less than an ounce. All three of those were set by Judge Wendy Dallas on December 2nd. And considering that the aggravated assault was reduced to a simple assault, we would ask for that bond to be reduced to $25,000 instead of $75,000.
Hold on, Judge. Sir, keep your hand down. So Judge Dallas reduced ag assault to simple assault.
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Let me clarify here. She said the actual charge aggravated assault has not been reduced, but she was basing, and she vocally based that bond amount on the fact that he had an open aggravated assault case at the time. However, that one was the one that he they had the plea deal that day on the 2nd as well, and that was reduced to a simple assault. When she found that out, we had already had this bond hearing, but she indicated that she'd reach out to you and let you know that that bond should be reduced from the 75 she set it at.
So she had it at 75, 10,
500, 500. Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, what happened is he had this prelim at like 9, and he was supposed to be meeting with, I forgot which Superior Court judge, like right after we finished his prelim, and they had a plea hearing, and they were reducing the aggravated assault right after he got done with his prelim, and they were reducing the aggravated assault, but she had already set the bond so high. But she said she was going to call you and give you all this information. Did she? That they were reducing that ag assault, because that's why she set this bond so high. And she said it would make sense.
Hold on, Truman's howling. He's going to keep howling, so I apologize if you hear him howling in the background. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I could text her, but I know as an officer of the court, it's this wouldn't be worth Mr. Cazoli's law license. Go ahead, Miss Amjadi.
Your Honor, the court previously found that the defendant poses a significant threat of reoffending and that he presents a danger to the community. He's recently pled guilty to an aggravated assault family violence case. He has 60 arrest cycles since 1998. Some of these are for theft and drug offenses, but some of them are for cases that include some element of violence or firearms. With that in mind, Your Honor, and the fact that Mr. Douglas is on the list of APD repeat offenders. The state's position is that bond as set is fair and reasonable.
Has there been any contact with the victim, Mr. Ms. Amjadi?
When I checked this morning, Your Honor, we had not. Ms. Ferreira, did you put in a victim locate for this victim? I did just find a note, Your Honor, that Ms. Ferreira requested that an investigator locate the victim to get up contact information.
All right.
Yes, I did actually, and he sent a list back, but none of the numbers on that were correct. So unfortunately, I was unable to reach that victim.
Okay, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1670 Lakewood Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with Lametrius, Lametrius, last name Almond, Almond. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply proof of employment, the name of your employer, the schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. I mean, so this says that he lives at this location on Lakewood. Mr. Cazzoli?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Douglas, can you raise your thumb, sir? We had a conversation about that. That's a good address for you now, correct? No? Okay. I was like, could we unmute?
Yeah, if you guys unmute him, let me see if this officer's knocking on my door and see if you can unmute him and get an address.
Okay, you're unmuted, sir. Go ahead.
2367 Cascade Road.
Okay, yeah, the last time we spoke, sir, did you confirm that you're able to live at that address?
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah, I have that as well.
She was trying to get on the website to talk to the judge.
Okay, yeah, no, so
email it to her.
that should already be in the system. I'll remind the judge of that as soon as she's back, though. But that
Okay.
yeah, I already have you in as living there.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, that was Amazon delivery, but what'd you find out about his address?
Yes, Your Honor, he does have a good address with his wife at 2367 Cascade Road, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30311. He'd been living there for about a year at the time of his arrest.
All right. So we can do 25,000, 10,000, 250, they'll leave this at 500. No, I'll tell you what, 25,000, 10,000, 500, and then 250. 25, 10,000, 500, and 250. Ankle bond will be paid for by the Oracle project. And sir, you could go and leave for employment. Best of luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Eric Wingo, you can leave the booth, sir.
Okay.
Wingo. Rivers. Everybody, I apologize. My bailiff has ran up here and has jumped in my lap. So if you see a little brown wiener dog, I apologize. All right. Deshaun Rivers, 1522 CP 211946, 107 days without indictment, $50,000 good bond as of September the 1st. Aggravated assault, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, giving false information to a law enforcement officer. Raw.
Now we got Rivers, theft by shoplifting 15, theft by shoplifting 15. Meth with the intent to distribute in 21 in Clayton. Don't know what the sentence was. One arrest for probation violation, nothing further.
Mr. Cazzoli.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Rivers is 25. Mr. Rivers, are you here, by the way, sir?
Yeah,
Okay, he just walked in. All right. Mr. Rivers is 25 years old. He is a lifelong Atlanta resident. He does have a good mailing address, I believe, listed as provided at 2265 Perry Boulevard, Building 8, Apartment 80. But he has been residentially challenged around the last year. He has a son who's around 10 months old who is special needs, and he helps support him any way he can. He's been working at Down South Cleaners, cleaning homes and carpets. He'd been doing that for about 6 months before his incarceration. Your Honor, he does not have any significant income, again, that is not going to support his family. So we are asking for a reduction of bond. I did not hear any violent charges in his recent criminal history, so we are asking for his bond to be cut to $15,000 for the aggravated assault, $5,000 for the firearm, $5,000 for each of the firearm charges, and then a UJR for the giving false information.
All right, Ms. Anjadi.
Let's see, Your Honor. Our office did reach out to the victim. She did not reach back out to us to give us any indication of what her position was. Given the offenses charged, Your Honor, a $50,000 good bond seems very reasonable, and the state would request that bond not be modified absent any change of circumstances.
Your Honor, he has not had a bond changed since it was originally given to him. So the change of circumstances would be the fact that there's been no indictment and no movement in over 3 months.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. No further contact with L-E-R-A-Y-H, last name Matthews. Stay away from 2265 Perry Boulevard in Atlanta, Georgia. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the Orca Project with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and to seek medical attention. You need employment in there too?
Yes, Your Honor, we would like that. I'm not sure if he will be able to go back to his job seamlessly, but he was working before his incarceration.
Okay. And employment. Sir, you have to provide proof of employment, the name of your employer, the location, and a schedule. You have to do that each time to the Ankle Monitoring Company and to Mr. Cazzoli so that he can turn it over to the state. Just make sure there was nothing else in here on this one. All right, that's what I thought. So I'd written some notes on there. So allegedly these two folks were out there shooting at one another. So that 24-hour curfew, I'm going to leave aggravated assault. I'm going to make, so 25, 9,000, 9,000, and 3,000. 25,000, 9,000, 9,000, and 3,000. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the Orca Project. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Who's standing up? All right. Trajon Banks. Trajon Banks, keep your seat, sir, please. 2322. Oh, Miss. There you go, Mr. Cho. 22 CP 2057884. 330 days without indictment. You got armed robbery, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony, hijacking a motor vehicle, aggravated assault with intent to rob. And this bond was set on August the 23rd, 2022. Free. Wow.
Banks, only prior arrest, has an open case also for only prior arrest is an open case for Schedule 1 substance and pistol for someone under the age of 18, not sentenced, from 2021.
All right, Mr. Cho.
Thank you, Your Honor. before you is Mr. Banks, Your Honor. We are asking for a bond reduction at this time. He has a, I believe, $42,000 bond at this moment. And as the court has noted, it is going to be almost a year without indictment. There was a probable cause hearing in this case already. And that was done on August 15th. So there is an officer available who was able to testify at grand jury, the same as he or she did at the probable cause hearing. Your Honor, Mr. Banks, if released, could live with his folks. Your Honor, apparently he has turned himself into the jurisdiction of the sheriff at the beginning of this case. We'd emphasize to the court that he has no FTAs. He is a young man. He was attending high school and was supposed to graduate in 2022. And Your Honor, Ms. Feely has spoken with his mother, and so he would be able to live with them. To be candid with the court, that address is in North Carolina, but he does have ties to the Georgia community, including cousins and aunts. If there is any concern about his availability to the court, again, Judge, I'd emphasize that he did turn himself in. I'm not sure if that one case Officer Bostic said was a conviction or not. It's my understanding that this is his second arrest with no previous convictions. He would be able to have no contact with the complaining witness, as he does not know them very well and has only met them twice. We do understand the allegations in this case. I would emphasize, notwithstanding what's alleged in the warrant, that any kind of injury was a graze in this situation. We do understand the nature of the facts. Notwithstanding, Your Honor, 338 days, I believe it's excessive. At 365 days, Mr. Banks would be entitled to a constitutional speedy, in my opinion. And so, Judge, we are asking the court to consider a reduction in half, deferring to the court's wisdom and judgment.
All right, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, the bond amounts have been reduced once before. Even in their original state, they were acceptable bond amounts, given the offenses alleged. Now, as it stands, the defendant has a $12,000 bond for the charge of armed robbery, a $9,000 bond for possession of a firearm during commission, a $12,000 bond for hijacking a motor vehicle, and an $18,000 bond for aggravated assault with intent to rob. The only one of those bonds that even comes close to what I typically recommend for commensurate offenses is the aggravated assault bond. For that reason, Your Honor, I believe that Mr. Banks already has an extremely low bond given the offenses alleged, and the state would respectfully request that there be no further reduction at this time.
Mr. Cho, did you say an address they'll be living at?
I did not.
Because this one has North Carolina.
I did
Sorry.
say that he does have a good address in North Carolina, to be candid with the court. It is 7344 Pebblestone Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina. He would be living with his mother and father. I didn't say the specific address, but it's my belief.
It is. Is it the North Carolina address, sir? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I see a thumbs up, Judge. It's
All right.
his sleeves on.
Yeah.
But he does have family in Atlanta, cousins and aunts, just for the court's knowledge.
All right. No further contact with Monterius, Monterious, Brennan, Brennon. You're going to have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, and medical visits. Stay out of Fulton County, sir, unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Also, stay away from 2239 Baker Road in Atlanta, Georgia, which should be okay because that's in Fulton County, and you're going to stay out of Fulton County. This is allegedly pointed a gun at the head of a victim, and this other one, hijacking motor vehicle. All right. Same victim. Making sure I didn't skip anything. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the Orca Project. Ms. Amjadi, what's your opinion on, do you want him to leave the state of Georgia, or do you want him to stay here in the state of Georgia? He's gonna have an ankle monitor on him no matter where he goes.
I suppose if he has an ankle monitor, Your Honor, and is there any way for us to mandate house arrest? If
Oh,
he-
yeah, 24 hours. You ain't leaving your house except for court, see your lawyer, or emergency medical.
Then, Your Honor,
How about this? Sir, do you
suppose it
have
makes
somewhere to
sense.
live here in Georgia? Thumbs up or thumbs down? All of a sudden he had, okay. Ms. Amjadi?
Your Honor, I did not see the defendant's response.
Yeah, he did have
No.
thumbs down.
Okay. In that case, Your Honor, perhaps it would be best to have him return to his residence. Or his mother's residence out of state.
All right, you can have ankle monitor paid by the county, sir. The only reason you are in your house 24/7. Am I clear? He said yes, that's good. All right. The only reason you come back to the state of Georgia is for court or to see your lawyer. Don't come back to the state of Georgia for any other reason. But by God, you better come back to the state of Georgia. I'll revoke your bond so quick it'll make your head spin, and you'll sit there in Rice Street until your trial. You understand me? Give me a thumbs up. All right. Best of luck to you, sir. I'm going to go 12,000, 8,000, 12,000, and 17,000. 12,000, 8,000, 12,000, 17,000. I reduced it just a wee bit just because I added more conditions. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Did Eric Wingo ever pop up? Eric Wingo. Ms. Rondon show up? There we go. All right. 22 CP 211729. Eric Wingo. 115 days without indictment on aggravated battery. No bond as of August the 24th. It's number 7. Bostic Pretrial.
In regards to Mr. Wingo, open case 19 SC 169115, cocaine with the intent to distribute, 32 prior arrests, couple of FTAs, 15, 16, and 19, 5 arrests for probation violation, couple of convictions, death by receiving stolen property, possession, MDMA, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Rondon.
All right, before you is Mr. Wingo. He is 32 years old and is born and raised in Atlanta. All of his family is here, including his 8 siblings with whom he is very close. He has one son who turned 1 this year. He is a high school graduate and was working at Atlanta Waveway before his incarceration. He is able to get his job back, and he was also working part-time with his father doing home improvement. We would ask for reasonable bond to be set in this case, not to exceed $30,000.
All right. Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, the defendant has 35 arrest cycles. His criminal history shows that he does present a risk of failure to appear, a risk of reoffending if released before trial, and also a danger to the victim. Your Honor, we did get victim contact information, and the victim did indicate that she wanted to appear and speak to the court today, but I do not see her name.
What's her name, Miss Amjadi?
Olivia Rembert?
No, we got somebody in the waiting room, but they won't change their name. We don't know if it's the real name or not.
Okay.
And they've been sent several messages to change their name.
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, I'm just going to look for my notes. The victim was against any form of pretrial release, although we do understand at this time the defendant is legally entitled to that. The state has made steps towards indicting this case, but given that the defendant is now entitled to a bond, there were some things that the victim said that I should probably present to the court.
Are you talking about what's in the warrant where he punched her 3 times in the face? 3 of her teeth were knocked out by Mr. Wingo.
Yes, Your Honor. Additionally, I received an email from Ms. Ferreira earlier today, which I'm trying to pull up. The reason he ended up punching the victim was because she tried to intervene when he was getting into a physical dispute with a pregnant woman. And I believe he also injured the victim's dog during the course of this incident. And for all of those reasons, Your Honor, she believes he's a danger to women, children, the community. Given this information and the number of arrest cycles we have, the state would like to reiterate that position. Ordinarily, for this sort of offense, we would ask for a $40,000 bond, Your Honor, but given all of the surrounding circumstances, I would ask for something a bit higher. In this case, maybe $65,000 and no contact with the victim.
Ms. Rhonda, do you know where he's going to live?
Oh, yes. He does have a good address on file, and that is going to be 230 Redding Ridge, Atlanta, Georgia, 30349.
Okay. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Olivia Rembert, Rembert, no further contact with Jeanette, Jennett Roberts, Roberts. Stay away from 3170 Donnelly Hollowell Parkway. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and seek medical attention. Stay away from 2799 DARRAH Drive Southwest.
Your Honor, I apologize, but Ms. Ferreira just notified me that the victim is trying to get in. Ms. Ferreira has told her to display her name.
You just admitted Olivia Rembert.
Let's see if this is her, Ms. Ferreira. Let's see, because this says S Melody. It's not even close.
Okay, I see an Olivia Rembert at the bottom corner of my screen, Your Honor.
She is here.
Your Honor,
okay.
She's currently texting me on the county.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the video.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's
Sorry
see.
about that.
Miss Olivia, can you turn your video on, please, ma'am?
I'm trying right now. It says unable to access. Oh, let me go to my settings.
Yes, ma'am. Look at that. First time anybody has ever thought about that.
Sometimes you have to log out and log back in.
I'm trying to add my camera. Just go to camera and then you.
If you just go to Zoom in settings and you enable your camera, it should kick in.
Yes, ma'am.
I just re-admitted her, Judge.
Okay.
From another device.
There you go, Miss Rembert. If you could do me a favor, take yourself off mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right hand. Do you swear a firm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Amjad, you have questions for you? You just wanted to make a statement?
Your Honor,
Hold on, Ms. Rembert. We can't talk over one another, okay? Go ahead, Ms. Amjadi.
Ms. Rembert, would you like to tell us your position? Understanding that at this point, the defendant is legally entitled to a bond. Do you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
any information you would like the court to know regarding your feelings about the bond? Or the defendant himself coming back into the community?
Yes, I just feel really sad about the situation. I feel like he is a danger to society. I don't want him out of jail, but I know he is rightful for a bond as well. He has messed up my life significantly. He pushed 2 of my teeth back. I had to pay thousands of dollars for surgery that I did not deserve, trying to protect his baby mother with his own child that she was pregnant with, trying to protect her. I got 2 of my teeth pushed back and lost permanently. I can't get it back. So I just feel like the bond should be higher because I know he gets one, but he's inside of that, but
Ms. Brember, you're breaking up.
I used to be the highest.
Ms. Rember, Ms. Rember, I don't know.
Hold on. Kids, it's facts. Much witnesses. Can you hear me now?
Okay, Ms. Rember, I don't know where you're at, but you have horrible connection. So if it looks like you're kind of in a closet or something. So you need to go closer to a window or something else because it's horrible and the court reporter cannot take it down. Now take yourself off mute and try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, so you might want to kind of make it a little shorter and to the point just because you seem to break up the longer you get. You in fear for your safety?
I just feel like he's a danger. I have 2 teeth permanently lost, spent $1,000 on surgery trying to save his baby mama for falling down some stairs. I feel like he's a danger to animals. He threw my puppy. I put all this in my incident report. I feel like he's a danger to his child. A lot of witnesses that I've been with that actually told me, including his baby mother. That's why the whole incident even happened in the first place, because he was trying to endanger his impregnant baby mother. So, I mean, I understand that he is rightful to a bond, but yeah, I just feel like it should be higher or,
right. Right. He does have an absolute right to a bond. So I do have to give him a bond. Okay. So I'm going to place you back on mute. Anything else, Ms. Amjadi?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Given that I do believe this is a more egregious case of aggravated battery, and I would request that the court grant a bond that reflects that fact.
Right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact. I think I already said this with Olivia Rimbert. I did say all this, didn't I, Madam Court Reporter? Ms. Rowe, you got it all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the Orca Project. 24-hour curfew. $120,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Okay. Therese Johnson, and let me see. Why are you here, Mr. Kane? Because this isn't a private attorney night. Why are you here? Your name's not Mr. Kane. I got you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, there's 3 people in there. I have Javaricus Porter and Therese Johnson. If you're not one of them, leave the booth. Mr. Kane. I don't understand why he's here. This isn't a private attorney night.
Judge, who do we have left? Johnson and who?
Therese Johnson and Javaricus Porter, but I don't know why it's on here. I don't know why Mr. Kane's on here because it's not a private attorney night.
Judge, I think he had such a good time on Monday, he and I saw him in court the other day. He wanted to come back and see you again.
Judge, I think that case was added at the request.
Of who?
I'm not sure on that one.
Judge, what number is Mr. Porter? I
know it's an add-on, but I don't know why it's here. Mr. Kane, why are you here? I don't see you as entered on any of these cases. You're on mute. Still on mute.
Your Honor, can you hear me now?
But I don't see, this isn't a private attorney night. Mr. Butterfield, I know we special reset it, but I don't see an entry of you on any cases in here.
Well, these are old cases that have been backlogged. I don't know how to explain it other than I was notified I was on the calendar for Javaricus Porter, so I'd ask that we be heard tonight.
Oh, that's, I think, two of the add-on cases.
Okay, yeah, but I just don't see an entry of appearance. That's what I'm saying. All right.
Anyway.
So you got to do, so, I mean, I'll hear them, but private attorneys are on Mondays, because then everybody else want to be special. Mr. Butterfield's special night only because we had to watch something. One second. All right, this is, Mr. Porter, wave your hand. You know, one thing. All right, it's position 3 and 4, Bostic. It was on an add-on calendar. It's 22 CP 207709. Javaricus Porter, 63 days with no indictment. And it looks like this was a pretrial surrender on possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. Then there's number 4, 22 CP 213215. Javaricus Porter, 63 days without indictment. You have VGSA Schedule 1 or 2, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And as of August the 15th, this one has a $6,500 good bond. Rob.
But I have no idea what y'all talking about. I have nothing on Mr. Porter.
Neither do I.
It was, all
I
right.
will pull up what I can get, Your Honor, if
Right.
the court is amenable.
Sure, let me see if well, he was on pretrial at some point, under that book. You mean give you that booking number, Bostic?
Oh, yes, please, thank you.
Yeah, 2204 215.
Thank you.
And you guys came off of that bond. In October.
So at the court's pleasure, I can tell you what happened.
No, stand by. We're waiting on a pretrial report. What it says on here is last arrest was on 1/17/2019, aggravated assault in Atlanta. Doesn't appear to have any open cases, but then there was obviously a new charge, October the 14th, 2022. And then you got the one that I read out. I don't know if you see anything else, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, I'm trying to pull up something in Odyssey. I was initially pulling up his criminal history. Let's see. For ongoing cases, we have the 2 on the calendar tonight, Your Honor. Possession of marijuana with intent to distribute with the March 23rd offense date. And then position 4 on the add-on calendar, Your Honor, for 22 CP 213215. This one has an offense date of October 14th, 2022.
Right. It looks like there was a 16 SC 140185 possession of marijuana, possession of firearm during at ×2. Then there's a 16 SC 148192 home invasion, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, marijuana, carrying a weapon. 17 SC carrying a weapon in a school zone, carrying a handgun in a prohibited manner, false name, obstruction, and escape. There's a 17 SC possession of controlled substance. There's a 19 SC simple assault, reckless conduct, disorderly conduct. 19 SC simple assault. And then there's these 2 OP cases. Go ahead, Mr. King.
Okay, Javaricus Porter's 26 years old. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. 26 years old. He's got his GED in military school. He's got a good address in town with his mother, 17 Boulevard Southeast, apartment C, 213, Atlanta, Georgia, 30312. He was employed in October when he was arrested. He was working for BPAC, which is a political and census canvassing company. I believe he has a bond. I'm not certain on that. You alluded to that on the 22 CP 213215. I just asked you to check that. He also has health problems. He's got a bag on his hip collecting either his urine or the rest. So he needs medical care also. So I asked that the court set a bond. Does the court have a bond on the 22?
There's a $6,500 bond on the one with the VGCSA possession of firearm and Schedule 1 and 2 also. But on the other, and that's a $6,500 good bond. On the one that pretrial came off on, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, there's no bond. That was 411.3 grams of marijuana.
Okay, so
Did
I'd
you
ask.
say 400, Your Honor?
Pardon me, I'd ask that the court set a bond in the amount of $5,000.
Samjadi.
Your Honor, I apologize. Did you say 411 grams for position 3?
That's what it said.
Okay, just checking that I heard correctly, Your Honor. If I may check the pretrial standing order very quickly. I'm also trying to do some quick math.
Miss Samjadi, we know your husband's doing the math for you.
He is at a training, Your Honor. Otherwise, normally he does. That is almost a pound of marijuana, Your Honor.
It says 411.3 grams of marijuana carried in a backpack.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
the scale and a box of plastic sandwich bags for packaging. Allegedly.
Well, Your Honor, to extrapolate between tables 3 and table 4 in the standing order, the state will respectfully request a $10,000 bond for the possession of marijuana charge on position 3. And as there is a $6,500 bond currently existing on the VGCSA and count position 4, we will not request a change on that. With respect to the firearm charge, however, we will ask for a $20,000 bond. And with respect to the charge of possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce, $1,000, Your Honor.
And what'd you say on number position 3?
Position 3, $10,000, Your Honor. I know
Right.
according to table 3, that would need to be $100,000, but since it's $25,000 for 10 pounds of marijuana in table 4, I tried to pick a figure that would sort of fit between the two.
All right. On position 3, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 200 Nelson Street. Mr. Kane, do you know where he's going to live?
Yes, Your Honor, he's going to live with his mom at 17 Boulevard, Southeast Apartment C 213.
All right. So he'll have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, or medical.
How about work?
If he gets about to writing that down, employment, he has to provide proof of employment, the name of employment, a schedule, and an exact location that he will be working. If he doesn't supply that, he can't leave. $25,000 good bond. On position 4, somebody had already set this. No further contact with your co-defendant. DASAAN, minor, MINOR, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, medical, and employment. Proof of employment, name of employer, schedule, and the exact location. Supply it to the ankle monitoring company and Mr. Kane. He can supply it to the state.
And who is the contact where I give the employment information to?
You'll give it to the state. Ms. Amjadi, who's he give it to?
Your Honor, given the charges, perhaps he should send it to Deputy Tom White and Deputy Rashandra Davenport.
All right. So only thing I'm going to reduce on the other one is I'm going to reduce the last count to 250. So it's $1,005,250. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the Orca Project, and stay away from Baker Street. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Wait a minute, you said Baker Street or Nelson Street?
Well, on this one, you have to stay away from Baker Street.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Judge.
All right.
With that,
All right.
we have excused.
Yep. Have a good holiday, sir. You can leave the booth. The only
All right.
person we're talking to now. All right, Miss Amjadi. What about Mr. Johnson?
Which Mr. Johnson, Your Honor?
We're back to Mr. Butterfield.
Got it. Your Honor, I do apologize about my prior mistake. I think I may have conflated two different cases within our internal filing system.
It's okay.
However, there is a serious pattern of domestic related incidents. There are a few batteries with the solicitor's office as well. And
there's been no contact with the victim, I'm assuming.
We have attempted contact, Your Honor, but I don't believe she has answered our calls.
Okay.
With that in mind, Your Honor, and given the fact that we're nowhere near the 90-day mark, I would respectfully request that the court deny bond until such time as the defendant is statutorily entitled to it.
All right. So we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 400 Far Road Northeast, Far as PHARR. No further contact with Raven Neal in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Sir, you're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, and medical. It's going to be a split bond because it's going to be no bond on ag assault, $15,000 with possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. Mr. Butterfield, if you send whatever you've got and get it straight to Miss Amjadi, you could put it back on a calendar. Maybe y'all can come up with a consent because I'm not sure that maybe what you sent got looked at, okay? Oh, you're on mute, Mr. Butterfield.
You haven't deleted it.
All right.
Judge, he is a student at Georgia State and that he has finals. So can he go to school? You know, because he's a student and I think he's either senior year or right away senior.
He can leave for the purposes of school. He can leave for the purposes of school as long as he supplies the schedule and exactly where on the campus he'll be going. Best of luck to you, sir.
Okay, and then
go ahead.
Judge, can I get a repeat of that first part of that, Your Honor? I heard you say no drug, no alcohol, but in the ankle monitor. But was there an amount? Is it a SOB? I mean, unsecured judicial release.
No, it's a split bond. I've got $15,000 on the possession of a firearm, but it's no bond on the ag assault because I want you to get with White or whatever, and y'all explain whatever's going on because obviously maybe there was some miscommunication. I don't know, but you know.
Well, Judge, I would respectfully ask that you reconsider, Judge, in this particular case, based on. I mean, gosh, Judge, I tell you. I know I'm gonna get calls like, what kind of lawyer you are to feel all those folks getting bonds in there with Judge Manning, and here you got no bond. Your client doesn't have any felony convictions at all.
Mr. Benefield, he's got a history of arrest, domestic violence, and this has only been 38 days. And everybody else has been on here has been, let's see, 118 days, 116 days, 300 some odd days, 126 days, 116 days. 107 days, 113, 115. So they've all had, and then the ones that had less, Mr. King, they had a bond, and it was 63 days. So I think if you reach out to Mr. White, Mr. Butterfield, you know me, I'm probably the most available judge that there is. And if there's anybody on here that say I'm not, they're lying, because I could easily be reached by. Some of them have my phone number, but I always answer emails. Some of them get kind of crutchety, don't they, Miss Lewis or Mr. Voria? They want me to sign an order, not understanding that this is not the only thing that I do. I'm hearing cases all day long. Like, sign this order, sign this order, sign this order. And if it was any other judge, it wouldn't get signed. They'd go through a staff attorney and blah, blah, blah. So reach out to Mr. White and, reach out again to Miss Amjadi because I will be here. I promise. But wait a minute, somebody sitting? So somebody, Lakeisha, no, it was in the one case for Gerondy Thornton, somebody named it was indicted, and the other one was addressed on bond. One case was indicted, ma'am, and his other case already had bond addressed in like a couple of weeks ago. So we're not going to hear that one again. All right, or you can always. What's that?
Thanks for hearing from us. Have a good
day. Right, reach out to, is this going to be in Women and Children or Miss Amjadi, or who do you need to reach out to?
Your Honor, I think maybe Deputy Davenport is the best person to reach.
All right, yeah, reach out. Look, Mr. Butterfield, you know me. I'm as easygoing as they get. So if you work something out with it, be glad. Send it to me and I'll sign it.
All right,
You
thank you very
probably
much,
know
Your Honor.
you probably know my phone number, so you can call me, text me, let me know. Hey, look, check your email. I'll be glad to.
Well, thank you kindly, Judge, and everybody have a good, happy holidays.
You too. It's awesome to see you, Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Judge.
Let's see. Did we have anything else? Who is Miss Wiley? Is Miss Wiley somebody that works with us? This other one is.
Your Honor, Mr. Arquez Jackson should be on the call.
Yep.
Or he
Yep.
was until 2 seconds ago.
I was like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Cut off kiss because we got a couple of motions, right?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that concludes my day. You still need
Ab-
me?
Oh, no, absolutely. Have a good one, Lieutenant. If I don't see, well, I guess I won't see you anymore at night unless I see you during the day.
We'll give you a call, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have a good one, guys, everybody.
Have a good one, Lieutenant.
All right, thank
You
you.
too, LT.
All right.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hold on, sir. Don't start talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That'll get me riled up quicker than anything. Hold on a second. Got to find my motions calendar. A minute.
Everyone have a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you too, Mr. Sturgill.
You
See what we got here. The motions calendar. All right, there was Bostic, there was Arquez Jackson. It's 22 CP 197566. I don't know why where this calendar got off to for me. Maybe it's in here. Hold on a second. And that is, he's got possession of cocaine and obstruction of law enforcement officers. Of course, he's out on bond. Let me pull up this other one. It is 21 CP 197569. Hold on, it's slow. No wonder Judge Glanville had to slow down court. And that is possession of MDMA, possession of marijuana less announced, drugs not in an original container, pedestrian darting out in traffic, and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. And then the last one I think of his is 22 CP 207053. Mr. Chair, I'm assuming you're just handling all of them?
Yes.
Okay. And this one is pulling up kind of slow. Possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. And what do you ask for, Mr. Cho?
Thank you, Your Honor. And thank you everyone else for staying strong through the night. Long and short, Judge, Mr. Jackson is in jail, was in jail 221 days. He was released October 6th. Condition of his bond for all three charges, and we acknowledge that he does have some history, and by some, we will let Officer Bostic fill in the gaps and ADA Amjadi. Judge, he has been told to go to sober living. He is thriving there as we speak, Your Honor. They're helping him with a lot of things. He has 6 months. It's a 6-month program. He's rehabilitating. He attends AA meetings. He's currently working for Fresh Express in Morrow via the program. He is a packer. He works with pallets as well, and he's also a team player, Your Honor, so he tries to help with everything. They are also providing a place for him to live. And so, Judge, he is thriving in the program. At Mr. Jackson's request, he is asking that I ask the court to consider removing that sober living program condition. I know that's unorthodox. It is at Mr. Jackson's request. I'm representing his interests. His position is he was in 221 days, which I think probably in normal times, he would have probably gotten a time served sentence at this point. While he was at sober living, he missed the birth of his daughter. And so Your Honor, his family is struggling. So while he is at the program, they're having troubles with housing. His intention or hope and desire is that he's able to leave the program so that he can continue to work for Fresh Express in Morrow, but help them find a place of stable housing. He would be willing and able to report as required if pretrial would consider taking him. He would take urine samples, drug tests, let them know where he's at, anything of the nature. He has been in jail an incredibly long time, so he is going to do everything in his power this time to not go back to jail. Judge, just last thing I'll say is he knows he messed up while he was in jail. He had 7 months to reflect, and it's given him time to rehabilitate while he was in there. He's no desire to go back to the same areas. He has no desire to go back to the bad influences. And so he did want me to ask that from the court. His fiance might be on the call as well. Your Honor, Mr. Jackson has been here throughout the hearing, wanting to show the court that he is willing and able to abide by the court's requirements, rules, etc. And I thank the court for its time. Thank you.
He's been in the program since September?
October, right, Mr. Jackson? Thumbs up. Yes, since release, he was directly transported from 901 Rice Street to A Sober Living, which is showing on the jail side of the Odyssey screen, transferred to the program 10/6/2022.
Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, I have to admit I was a bit confused going back and forth between these cases. I understand that he was released to 2 different programs consecutively on position 4 of the add-on calendar. If the court has already reinstated the $3,500 good bond on position 3, correct?
Right, and he's been out. He's just wanting to get out of the sober living thing. What is he going to do in place of it, though?
My suggestion would be pretrial services if they're amenable, drug screens, reporting, anything else the court requires. What Mr. Jackson told me was that he'd be willing to do whatever it takes so that he can get his family on track the same way he's gotten himself on track. But I know it's a big ask and I know it's unorthodox, but we are trying to represent Mr. Jackson's interest in this case.
Bostic, would y'all take him?
What is sober living?
It is a residential program. They provide help with housing and work. While he's there, he has to attend classes, including AA and counseling as well. The things that try to train folks' mind to be mindful of consequences of actions, plan for the future, and not fall back into a cycle of criminality.
Eric, that's pretrial without the housing.
Yeah,
yes.
and this is it's a 6-month program, though, Mr. Cho.
So he may as well stay in this sober living because that helps him with somewhere to live. So I would say that makes no sense. Because we're going to do the same thing.
Sorry.
I understand what you're saying, but it's going to be the same structure, Mr. Jackson. You still have to go to drug training. You will have to, but in this regard, for your drug treatment and screening, you will have to start paying for those. Probably with them, you don't. With us, you will have to pay for certain things. So it makes more sense to do the sober living than with us, my opinion.
And Your Honor, my position is sober living appears to be a structured program. My concern is that if he were to leave it, he would lose that structure, which can present serious hurdles to the addiction recovery process if somebody is not ready.
So maybe, maybe. All right, go ahead, Mr. Jackson. Stand by. Take yourself off mute. Raise your right hand. You swear for military right. You swear for military right. There you go. You swear for testimony about to give is truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Okay. As Mr. Cho stated, yes, I was incarcerated for seven months. The sober living program is 6 months, and aside from that, they do not offer housing once I'm released. However, I've been in contact with my case manager through Step Up organization, and they've already gotten me approved for an apartment. And aside from that, I mean, I work a stable job. My apartment will be in the same area, which is College Park, which is away from, you know, areas that I'm familiar with that were in.
Okay, so hold on. Do you understand that you're going to have to pay for stuff if it goes through pretrial that you're not paying for before?
Yes, ma'am, because I mean, I'm still paying to be at Sober Living. I still have to.
okay.
He pays to be
So
at
what
work.
you're saying is one place is giving you housing and one place is helping you find an apartment, but the other place that's helping you find an apartment, your family can come stay with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Judge, I understand. I understand.
And
You gonna take it for trial?
Yes, Judge. And I'm sorry, Miss Gandy. Sorry.
No, Bostic's
You
got to
gotta
come
speak
for
for me.
1 day.
Okay, Judge, I understand.
Are y'all going to take it, Bostic?
He doesn't qualify, but I understand. I will, Judge. Sir.
Yes,
please-
ma'am.
Okay, I got to turn my camera on. Please understand, you will be drug screened. You have to report. You will have a case manager. They will let you know whether or not you have to report in person or they're still making you report. If you miss, your bond will be revoked and you will be going back to jail, which means you will cause your family to lose your housing. You have to keep your job.
Officer Bostic's
not-
right,
you will
Mr.
have
Jackson.
drug
It's no
screens.
joke. It is no joke. And if you go back, there's nothing I can do, or Miss Gowdy or anyone else, to pull you back out, because
Correct.
there's a
I
lot
don't
of
put
chances.
myself
being
on the line
burned.
for people.
Right. So Officer Bostic's giving you a solid if the judge decides that, but you have to commit to it and actually do it. There's no excuses.
That's correct.
And I don't mean to lecture you, so I apologize. But
I'm sorry, Miss Bostic, what level you want him at?
One judge, because from what I understand, it's going to be out. He's working out and going to be out in where I live, out here in the Morrow area. So that's a little further.
So level 1's okay with you?
Yes. Sir, do you have transportation or are you going to have to find transportation like Martyr? Because Martyr doesn't come out here.
I'll have transportation.
Okay.
You got a good license? Don't be driving dirty.
No, I'm not. I have no desires to go backwards. I have none.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Judge, and that's my responsibility, correct?
Yes, sir, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely not. Can I do it
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Sure, absolutely, you can. I'll look for it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr.
So just for clarity, Cho is gonna do the bond order, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll do it for all
Okay.
three, and I'll modify pretrial level 1 and random drug screens. Anything else?
That's it. Mr. Cho, you know, Truman, he likes you.
I like dogs more than most people, so.
I want to see Truman too.
And Judge Manning, will you be sending it to me?
Yeah, once Cho sends it to me, I'll sign it and shoot it to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you all. God bless. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Anything else from anybody?
Merry Christmas, Judge. Happy holidays, everyone else too.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, everybody. Truman says, have a good one. We'll see y'all in the daytime.
I like
See
the
you guys
Truman
after the
dance.
hholidays.
All right.
Bye,
Good.
Miss Andy.
Mr. Jackson,
Bye-bye.
we have a question, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Jackson. This is us having a good time for our last night of 2 weeks. Don't ruin it for us.
No, I'm not. I just want to know, when do I need to report in person to pretrial?
Oh, I would say Monday.
Monday?
He's going to give me, Joe's going to give me the order tomorrow sometime.
Tomorrow. Call the number 404-612. You got something to write this down?
I'm putting it in my notes right now as we speak.
404-612-2626.
Okay. And who will I ask for?
That would be that's the main number. And tell them you were given pre-trial.
Level 1.
That your bond was changed to pre-trial today. And then they'll give you, and that you're already released, and they'll give you information from there.
Okay,
Okay?
All right.
okay, thank you.
Bye, Mr. Jackson.
Good afternoon. See you later. Thank you.
All right, guys, y'all have a good one. Truman says, have a good one.
You too, Judge. Truman.
Happy holidays, everybody.
All right,
Happy
Miss Rip,
holidays.
text me when you get all the orders in there, okay?
Okay, I just got two